Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who've had an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Cities area. Kosh listeners, how are you doing today? Okay, I'm going to give you my weather report. You know what? People probably don't understand why I give the weather report. I give the weather report so you can relate it, because we're sharing weather most likely because everybody listens is local. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, because I do have international listeners, believe it or not, which always shocks me. But I tell it so you can put in frame of reference what the mood was that day, because weather has a large part to do with mood. So today is no snow, little gloomy though, but I hear it's going to be 50. And if it's 50, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go take Bosco, the podcast dog, for that park walk that he is so been asking for. Yes, I know you're asking, how does he ask for that? Bosco has a thing, like when he wants to go outside, he comes up and he paws you hard. He's like, hey, I need to go out. So I'm thinking I'm going to beat him to the punch before he paws me down today. And we're just going to take him out to go enjoy this wonderful weather. All right. Enough of that. Now, okay, you know what I'm going to say, Kosh listeners? Why? Why do I get these fantastic guests? I can't tell you. I'm super excited about today's guest. It's going to be fire.
Bruh.
Not brimstone, just fire. I'm just saying. And so, without further ado, this week's guest is Jenni Eickelberg. Did I say that right?
Close. Eickelberg.
Eichel.
Like Eichel.
Eichel.
It's German. It's hard.
Well, you know what I did? I screwed up and I didn't do the before the show ask, how do you say it, and phonetically get that right. Luckily, I'm not going to say it again during this episode. We're just going to call you Jenni.
Works for me.
I'm just saying.
You can call me Jenny. You can call me Jen. You can call me Jennifer. I don't care.
Oh, you're not hung up on it?
I had some friends in college. My two best friends in college were named Jen and Jen. And if you call them Jenny, they bit your head off.
Really?
So when we hung out, people would be like, hey, Jen. And I'm like, I don't care. Yeah.
Do you have a preference?
I go by Jenny. Jenny, yeah.
Okay.
But again, if Jen or Jennifer slips out, oh well.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
Okay, that's fair.
Bruh.
I'm with it. All right. You ready to jump in?
Let's go for it.
All right, Jenny, can you please share a little something about yourself and your association with the Kosh or the surrounding Fox Cities area?
Yes. So I am a married working mother of two teenage boys. Yes, teenage boys. Luckily, they're very well behaved and I love them to death. I also grew up in the Fox City, so I'm a townie.
Oh.
Which that could be good or bad. I don't know. I mean, it gives me a rich history of things that have gone on in the Fox Cities. But then again, it's not fresh blood. But you kind of want to have people stay and live where they grew up. So, yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I basically went away to college and came back.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any of that brain drain.
All right.
Stayed here and I've been here, since I was born. A little history of what my journey has been.
Yes.
I went to school for pre-veterinary.
Oh.
I am so into animals and science. I'm like, oh my gosh. When you're little, it's like, what do you want to be? I want to be a veterinarian. It's one of those things.
While she says this, Bosco, the podcast dog, is sitting at her feet.
Aw, look at him. Yes. I love Bosco.
He senses it.
Aw, well, thanks, Bosco. Went through my whole college experience, which was amazing. Applied to vet school, didn't get in. I got down to number 1 on the waiting list, though.
Oh.
It's harder to get into vet school than it is medical school.
I didn't know that.
It's interesting.
Is it just because there's so much of a demand of people who want to be vets, or?
That, and there's very few vet schools. And if you think about it, like if you're going to medical school, there's, brain surgeons, there's bone, there's family doctors, there's all different kinds, where veterinarians are pretty much just veterinarians.
Okay.
So made it down to number 1 on the waiting list. Felt like I had a chance. In the meantime, kept on like working different places, trying to get experience, and moved home. Yes, I moved home.
Why you say it like that?
Because I feel like I'm one of those people that, moves home, but made the best of it. I also then, while I was at home, worked in a 1-hour photo lab. Back when they had something called film, and people did that to...
I remember those.
You had to wait for your pictures. Yeah. Oh, shocker.
Oh, now you giving dates.
Yes, sharing, I'm older.
You're sharing age hints.
Yes, and I don't mind talking about my age. So, but tried again, didn't get in. So I'm like, I'm just going to start applying to different companies around in the Fox Cities because I have a college degree. Why not? So applied all over. Got my share of, rejection letters. But at the time, a major employer brought me in for an interview. I was excited, did the interview, but the manager that came in said, I don't understand your resume because I was working in a photo lab. I had a science background, and the company that was going to hire me had nothing to do with any of that. Mm-hmm. He took a chance on me, though, and hired me.
Yeah.
So I've been at this local large employer for a long time.
Okay.
Because he's like, I just need people who get along with other people. I can train you to do anything.
Oh, well, actually, that should kind of be the attitude.
It should be. So I'm very glad that he took that. He took a chance on me. And then he basically said, once I was working there, let me know where do you want to go in the company? What is your ultimate goal? So, he's like, I'll help you get there, even if it's CEO. So I'm just very proud to have worked for this man. He was amazing because he took a chance on me. But at the company, I've had various roles, with my final role now being exactly what I wanted to do, which is help my company with its philanthropic giving in our community, which is I'm from the Fox Cities. So I'm very lucky because I get to meet and interact with all different nonprofits and people like you, and just help to support the community that supported me when I was growing up. Mm. So it's a very fulfilling job, and I feel very lucky to be able to do it.
Facts.
So I feel very lucky, and I don't like to rub it into people.
No, that's not rubbing it in.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want to be like, my job is the best, even though I feel it's the best.
Look, there's ways to do that.
Yeah.
Look, why can't you just say, like, I'm super happy here. Like
I do though, in subtle ways. Like
I do it in my job. People ask me all the time, "How do you feel about working?" And I'm like, they treat me like gold. I'm super happy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why should I?
Be unapologetic?
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm going to go on about it. Like literally, that's going to be about the end of the statement. Like,
yeah, no. And again, you are lucky with your job.
Yeah.
We intersect all over at different community activities, and I always get a smile on my face whenever I see you.
Facts. Me too.
You're amazing, Timber.
I don't know. Some days.
Every day.
Usually just, if you really know, I'm really, really good on Tuesdays and Thursdays and every other Sunday. That's when I do my best, Timber. No.
Well, then I'll try and go to events and things where I'll meet up with you on those days.
Yep, it's those days. All right. You ready to jump into the first segment?
Let's go for it.
Okay. So the first segment is what in the world is going on with. You start with the phrase what in the world, and then you tell us what's on your mind.
What in the world is going on with inflation?
Oh, bruh. Facts.
Oh my gosh. The price of eggs, it's like they're gold. Some of this is like even bad stuff for you. 12 packs of soda are now up to like $8-9, which is probably good because soda's not good for you.
Yeah, I don't mess with it, but
my husband drinks it though, so it's just hard. So it's like we always try and get the bargain shopping and try and find the best price for soda.
Oh yeah.
Bread is way up in price. Even I have 3 cats. Our cat food is just spiking. And don't stop telling me about gas. Holy cow, the price of gas, even though it's been stabilizing a little bit. But it's not about me. I feel very privileged to be able to make choices with different things. I just think about people who are living in poverty and how this affects them. Because, again, it's not about me. They're already living paycheck to paycheck.
If.
Yeah,
that's
and they're already, on a tight budget.
Yes.
They can't make a lot of choices. So when you start seeing that eggs are like $8 a dozen, which I've seen that, what do they do? Because that used to be like the go-to cheap thing that was very healthy.
Right. And we just cut benefits.
And I forgot about that. That's devastating.
It's devastating.
It's devastating.
I'm with you. Like, I think about it, and here's my thing. Like, you mentioned the term poverty. I just think of your normal middle-class family who has multiple people, like several children, and that, like, this has gotten expensive.
It has.
And it's serious. Like, yeah. And what I will say is this: in my household, there's conscious decisions being made to, like, are we, before it was like, we're just going to buy this and make a big meal and, we'll eat some leftovers of that. Like, but then the leftovers don't necessarily always get eaten. So now, like, we will take that family pack and freezer bag it down to 2 chicken legs here, 2 wings there.
With you.
Like, we're trying to make this stretch and last for the couple of bucks. I mean, you have to actually be thoughtful. I don't care who you are in this process. So I feel you. Like, I just think up and down the economic line of where we are, particularly those with our financial challenges. Yeah, you got to think different.
It is. And I mean, I'll admit that I look at all the grocery ads before I go shopping and kind of, we go to like 2 different stores. And so like something maybe, cheaper at one store than the other. I will buy things based on if it's on sale. And sometimes, and again, I'm very lucky. I can freeze. I have room in my freezer to freeze things when they're on sale. Mm-hmm. So then sometimes I go shopping the freezer, and I'm doing this in air quotes, to see what I can have this week.
Right.
So it's a journey. But again, I just really feel for low income households and, like you said, middle income households. They don't have a lot of wiggle room.
Not always.
And they're in survival mode. It's one of those things where, they also have higher rent. That's another thing that they have to deal with.
Ooh,
when you talk about gas, if they have a job and they have to drive to it.
Oh, especially if it's got distance.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, then they have to think about it. Like, do I feed my family this week or do I drive to work? So I just think of the choices that people have to make with this. And again, it's not all about people of my income. It's how it affects society in general.
Facts.
So the thing that's on my mind with that is, are prices ever going to go back? It's one of those things where now that they're elevated, are they ever going to go back? Just because I'm going to say that not a lot of companies do cost of living adjustments anymore. It's more based on merit on how you do in your job.
Or you have to go get a new job. Or you have to
true.
At least get a new job offer so your old job gives you an offer.
Ooh, that's like playing the system.
Well, is it? I've worked places where they literally tell you if you want a raise, then you need to go bring me an offer. Like, literally bring me the paper offer.
Wow. Yeah, that's not where I work.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll just like, see ya. So it's interesting. Oh, that's cool. I would love to work for someplace like, even though then again, for you to have to go out and try and find another job to prove it.
Yeah, but it still makes you feel some kind of way because at that point you're thinking, why don't I just go for the other job?
Yeah. Unless you really like the culture of the company that you work for.
Yeah. But I mean, even then it's still like, this be a better opportunity or better benefits. I mean, because whatever you're going to spend the time to try to go do, if they're going to make an offer at you, you never have more influence than you do at the initial offer, right?
I never thought of it that way.
So
That's a good way of thinking of it.
They're going to if they've decided that you're the person that they're going to hire, that is when you are most influential and you can ask for the most things. And you may ask trying to disqualify them, and they may say yes.
You never know. The worst they can say is no. That's one of the things that I say all the time.
And then what do you do? What do you do?
Then you have to make a decision.
Right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
So that happens. That happens.
And then I just think of people even delaying major purchases due to high costs, which then that gets in the whole economy thing. You know, if people aren't buying, then, you know, it's just a swirl of different things.
Facts.
So yeah, that's what's been on my mind is what in the world's going on with inflation and how is it going to affect all of our lives moving forward?
I don't know if it's going to go back down.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, there's just a lot of factors that came into play. COVID really threw things in a tailspin.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
And I think one of the factors that we don't talk enough about is, you know, we do talk about the fact that there's not enough workers, right?
So true.
And
so true.
So that has an effect, and that's part of what we're dealing with too. And we talk about supply chain and things of this, but the one thing I never hear a conversation is from the economic end really talk about is we lost a lot of people.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
My heart goes out to that. I mean, when I would see in the middle of the pandemic, you know, now Wisconsin's up to this amount and the United States is up to this amount, it's devastating.
Right. And so we may not have workers because we lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so this isn't something where there's always this, there's this feeling or this conversation of why aren't people working and da, da, da. I assure you that especially with the cost of things now, no one's sitting on the system to sit on the system because trust me, the system is not paying you enough to sit on the system. So true. You can't survive on that.
I know.
You can't survive on that.
I know. So. I'm just trying to gather myself because, I just have the feelings of everyone that we lost. Even though I'm going to say I'm lucky I did not lose anyone that I know. But, yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. What in the world is going on with people that you run into that you haven't seen for a long time? And then they're surprised by where you're at.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
What is that?
No kidding.
Like this happens. And
it's happened to me.
And I'm just like, I get it. When you knew me, I might have been a little wild. But, I might have been doing
Everyone
life.
has to sow their wild oats at some point.
Got to kick it a little bit. Right. But then they're like stunned.
Stunned?
And it just makes you, this recently happened to me. Actually, it's happened to me several times over the last several weeks. And I'm pretty good at just letting things roll off me. Like, I don't really think nothing of it. But then it just happened to me again last night. And it just, I guess it's happened enough that it gave me pause. Like, I was like, what did people think I was going to become?
A circus clown?
Maybe. And actually, I'd be good. No.
You'd be good at anything that you do, Timber.
I can't do circus clowns because clowns freak me out.
Ditto. Ditto.
Yes. No Pennywise here. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that energy, because here's the thing. It's not necessarily. Sometimes there's some condescension in it, right? But sometimes it's just really like surprise, and I don't know what to do with it. And I don't know.
I mean, it's too bad you can't just say, well, what did you think? But then you don't want to make them mad. You know what I mean? But it's too bad you can't say, well, what did you think I'd be?
No, at that point, I don't want to carry on the conversation that long. So, right? Because if you ask the question, then you're stuck in the conversation. So I don't ask the question because I'm not trying to stretch out that conversation. I catch it and wait, and it's done subtly. Right?
Oh.
So it's not one of those things where it's like, it slaps you across the face. It happens because I think it's something people like. It's one of these things people do, and then like they may not even fully be thinking about what's coming out of their mouth. But I listen very intently,
as you should.
Like I just really listen. Like that's one of the things I do. Like I truly take the time to a lot of times when you're in conversations, people listen to respond. I don't.
That is true. That is very true. I'm guilty of it sometimes.
Yeah, I don't listen to respond. I just listen, and then I decide if I'm going to respond.
Ooh.
Because I don't always.
That's good advice.
I'm just saying.
That's good advice.
And so, like, all I can say, y'all, is should I be in my feelings about this, or should I just go on and let this go? And
you need to have the feelings.
No, there's a difference. Like, apparently I have feelings because I'm making this my what in the world is going on with. But I'm just saying, like, I'm in my feelings a little bit about it, but I also feel like I'm very good at going meh.
As we all should be. I mean, I'm at the age where it's like, if you don't like me, I'm not going to hang around with you.
So I'm going to put this out there to Kosh listeners. Does this happen to y'all? Has this happened to you? Is there a group of individuals you run into from your past, and then, you know, they're like, okay, you're doing really good. I'm surprised. What? Huh? What are you really trying to say?
You have to own it. Own it.
Own it. You know, well, you know, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on the owning. There you go. I'm going to work on the owning.
It's your personal development plan.
Bruh. Facts. So, all right, that's my what in the world is going on with that. I now have a personal development plan to work on. There you go. I will give feedback. Kosh listeners, if you're out there and that has happened to you, please let us know. Go on and send us an email or a voicemail and tell us your story about when somebody has totally done the surprise how things have turned out for you thing to you. Because I know I'm not the only one. I know it's happened to others. Maybe I am the only one.
I hope some of you call in.
I would love. I just want to hear. You know what? If you call in, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play the story, whatever it is. I want to make that happen. Okay. Ready for the next segment?
Bring it on.
Okay, next segment, word association. This is your opportunity. I'm going to say a word, and you're going to tell us what's going on in your mind when I say this word. And Kosh listeners, you already know what I'm going to say. We always start with the unifying word, the word that makes us all united. There is no bad to this word as far as I'm concerned, and that word is food.
So I think of food as the great connector. It's amazing because people use food to have meetings over coffee.
Facts.
It brings people together. Families gather around food. Food entices people to go to meetings. Like sometimes people are like, well, how do we get people to come? Offer a meal, offer some snacks. Food is a great conversation starter. So, you know, if you're in the elevator with, you know, the CEO, you can say, have you been to any good restaurants, or what's your favorite meal? Everyone loves food. And I myself especially love food. Basically, I'll tell you a little bit about my food journey. So back when I was a kid, it started with my mom. She gave us some great meals, and it wasn't always just macaroni and cheese and hot dogs. So she had us try steamed artichokes before they were popular.
Bruh.
Eickelberg, which are round pancakes from Denmark, which is where my family is from. I still to this day make my Eickelberg. They're like round golf ball sized pancakes, and you can put different fillings inside. Now they're very finicky to make.
What?
Yes, I know. Isn't it crazy? And I know everyone's just like, Eickelberg, they're very popular in California. There's like Eickelberg restaurants.
What?
I know. It's something that you just never hear, but that's like a part of my my identity is the whole Danish side of my family. So I love, you know, stoking that up. I've introduced obviously my children and my husband to Eickelberg. So it started there. Then when I went to college, I was known as the person who you can mix up anything that you want and I'll try it.
Oh.
So it was almost like a dare. So I would have like my friends, we'd be sitting at the big table. I'm like, just mix whatever you want from the salad bar. So they would take like pudding and French dressing and olives and pieces of brownie and just all these random things that don't go together. My only rule was you can't put in anything that I don't like, and you have to bring me a glass of water afterwards. But I would try anything. So It was one of those things where I was just like, what's Jenny going to try today? So That was one of those things there too. So I was just always daring. Then fast forward to, I've been to a few different countries through volunteering with Habitat for Humanity.
Right.
One of them, and I used to watch this show called, it was with Andrew Zimmern, and he basically went to all these different countries and, he would try things.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Didn't he pass?
No, he didn't.
Not Andrew Zimmern.
No, that was, what was his name? Oh. Yeah, it was another famous one.
Okay. All right.
But Andrew Zimmern is a chef, and he's from the Minneapolis area. Mm. There are 2 foods in the world that he will not eat because it makes him gag. Mm. One of them is walnuts, which I love walnuts. But the other one is durian. And durian is this spiky, large football-sized fruit. And it's a fruit, even though when you hear about what it is, that is beloved in Southeast Asia. It's like people love it, but it stinks.
Ooh, I've heard of this.
Yes. So he's like, he can smell it wherever he is. So I was in a hotel actually in Thailand where the hotel actually had signs with a great big one of those no slash things and a picture of durian. Because if you'd open up a durian in your hotel room, it would stink up the whole floor. Mm. And they would actually fine you if you ate durian or brought it into the hotel. It was my goal to try and find some, based on the things that I did in college, everything, bring it on. I will try interesting things. I was able to find a market where I could try it. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. So it was just interesting. It was just there. I can see why Andrew Zimmern maybe didn't like it. It's weird. It's a fruit, but it has this like oniony smell, like decaying onion smell, but it's a fruit.
What's the texture?
It's very creamy. I had to eat it with like plastic gloves on. So it's very creamy. Oh. But again, it's a delicacy in Southeast Asia. And you either love it or you hate it. So again, that's me just trying different things. Also, when I was in Thailand, they had a night market and they had a stand that sold bugs. So I tried, and I've had crickets before. I love crickets. They're just like little salty, crunchy snacks. If you can just get over that they have legs. Bruh. And at this stand, they also had all different sized bugs. So I think I did one all the way up to 2 inches. They weren't alive. They were not alive. So to me, they just tasted like, again, salty, crunchy snacks. Look, I know, the look that you're giving me.
I don't care if it's alive or not alive. I'm just going to go with,
try it. Try them. So at the State Fair once, too, they had a stand that had cricket nachos. So we got some of those, and I had my boys and my husband try it, and they're like, yeah, these are pretty good. So don't knock it till you try it.
I'm going to tell you the only way I'm trying it if it's deep fried. Because you know what?
Maybe they are. I'm not sure because they're crunchy.
Because you can fry anything.
You pretty much can. I'm guessing that they're already fried.
If you deep fry it, maybe. I'm not against it because
I'm thinking that that's what they do to make these nice and crispy for snacks. But it's a great source of protein, and they use it all over the world. So it's one of those things where I'd love to see more bugs being involved in our diet. So fast forward to the pandemic. I was, again, feeling the feels and didn't want small restaurants to fold. I wanted to support them. So every Saturday, I made it my mission for my family and I to carry in meals from all different small restaurants in the Fox cities. So we'd go through and I'm like, let's try this one. Let's try this one. And we carry in to support them. Then I started thinking, or I started just posting it on my Facebook page. And I'm like, I could start writing about, some of this and try and encourage people to go to these restaurants. So I continued to do that and started writing. And then I started my own Facebook page. I'd love to have you join me. It's Food for Thought Fox Valley, and it's on Facebook. So right now I'm up to 1,800 followers.
Ooh,
I know,
amazing.
But I'm always willing to grow it. But I talk all about new products, different restaurants, just interesting articles about food, things that I've tried, and ask questions. So if you like food, even if it's just a little bit, follow me, Food for Thought Fox Valley on Facebook. I'd love to have you join me.
I follow you.
Yay! Thanks, Timber.
I'm just saying, I do follow, and there is some good stuff I learned.
But through that, then I know the editor of Appleton Monthly Magazine, and I'm like, if you ever need a food editor or someone to write about food for your magazine, let me know. A couple of months later, she called me and she's like, hey, remember when you told me that? I'm like, yes. She's like, would you like to write for us? I'm like, but of course. So this is what I call my side gig. My side gig is writing I'm the food editor for Appleton Monthly. Be sure and pick up a copy. They're free. And yeah. And I'm going to say what my next assignment is for Appleton Monthly. I had to go to 15 taco places.
And you didn't call me.
I know I should have.
Because
I know there's so many people that love tacos.
Yes.
But I'll say that I still love tacos, but I'm tacoed out because I've had 15 different types of tacos in just over a month.
What's the favorite?
I knew you'd ask that. I tried to do all different types. I'm going to say for quality, the ingredients are great at Antojitos Mexicanos in downtown Appleton. Like they use all fresh ingredients. Mm-hmm. But I'd say it's a hard one. Anything that was ethnic. So I've had a few that are like, I had some really good fish tacos at Michael's. Again, there's some places that aren't Mexican that, have tacos. But yeah, you name it, I've been there. A Tipsy Taco was amazing. They have like 30 different types of tacos there.
Were food trucks in this?
Yes and no. I tried to get an interview with 2 local food trucks that you've probably seen around and wasn't able to, just due to very, very different things. But I did patronize them and they did have some great tacos. So yes. It was interesting. So that's my food journey. And again, I love food. I just have to be careful. Like for me, I'm lucky that my family comes with me because then I don't need to try 4 different things. Well, I try 4 different things, but I don't need to eat the whole meal.
Right.
So I just take a bite of each of theirs and then I can write about it. So that's where I'm lucky to do that. So, and I take pictures of my food wherever I go. So if you eat a meal with me, know that I'm going to be taking a picture of my food. We still need to go somewhere fun and ethnic, Timber.
Facts. You had me at tacos. I'm just saying.
Bruh.
All right. I'd love that. We went hard.
But that's what I'm passionate about. That's one of the things I'm passionate about.
This is true. Okay. Cocktail or beer?
So I always feel bad because I grew up in Wisconsin and I don't like beer. I've tried to develop a taste, but for me, it's a very specific taste and I feel like you have to develop it. So even in college, I did not develop that taste.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. Like you either... Like, I tolerate beer.
Okay.
Like, because sometimes it's just the best deal there is. Like, if you go to a sporting event, like, I could spend a $20 cocktail or I could spend a $9 beer. I'm going to buy the beer because I'm going to get 16 ounces.
And I would buy the cocktail just because, again, it's one of those things. Like, I've even seen some, like, fun flavors of beer. There was one that it was a Kringle flavored beer. And I'm like, I'm going to try it. It's probably really sweet. No, it was not good.
Not good.
It was beer. You know what I mean? And it had that slight little taste, but I'm like, okay, if I try that and it's not, then I'm just not about beer. But give me something sweet, which not everyone likes. But, again, give me a margarita, a daiquiri, a mixed drink that, just has a sweet flavor. Just nothing that's really beer-like, the malty. I don't know. I'm just not into it. I know some people, they love it and they can tell the difference between, how much hops are in it and how much malt is in it. Not me. And I feel bad saying this because I don't know if you know, it's Beer Appreciation Week or something in Oshkosh. Like the city of Oshkosh is doing a promotion this week at all their different restaurants of all different kinds of beers, craft beers.
Right.
So I feel bad saying it during this week, but I'm sorry. No. I'm not going to be going and trying your beers. So
I think they'll forgive you.
I hope so.
You're going to be all right. Concert.
Okay, so I'm going to fly my nerd flag high and proud. I love Weird Al.
Bruh.
Yes. Me and my family, we can't get enough of him. And people are always surprised. I love all different concerts, but Weird Al, he's a brilliant man with all of his lyrics, and he's just funny.
He is.
So,
he is awesome, actually.
He is. Have you seen the movie about him?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Is it good?
Yeah. Even though some of it, I'm like, did they inflate it a little bit? Like, in the movie, it showed that he had a relationship with Madonna. Maybe he did. Or she came to him and she really wanted him to do one of her songs because it would boost it. Another one is there was a Mexican drug lord that loved Weird Al and brought him down to his compound And so that one was an interesting piece too. And I'm sure that some of this happened, but I don't know if in the movie they overinflated it. You know what I mean? It made it seem like, oh my gosh, this was huge. And I guess for entertainment purposes, maybe that's what they do.
But then again, it's Weird Al.
It's Weird Al. So that's true. That's true.
Can you write it off?
That is true.
I'm just saying. Bruh.
So we had I love Weird Al so much. I think I've been to at least 10 of his concerts. My family has been to probably 5. And whenever we see that he's coming someplace, I make it a point to go. This past time, we did a meet and greet with him, but he had just had COVID prior to this. Oh. So we were lucky that he was doing the concert, but everything was separated by, the clear plastic.
Right.
So it wasn't as much of an experience. It was, but it wasn't.
Right.
So I'm still glad that we did it, just because we got to meet Weird Al behind plastic. So it was just one of those times that it was fun.
Is he still touring?
We saw him that was probably last summer.
Okay.
I mean, he keeps on going. He keeps on making songs. So I hope that that he continues on, even though his catalog of music is vast.
It is.
At one point, there was also a radio station in Appleton that was changing its format. So they played Weird Al songs straight 24/7 for, I think it was like a week. And every time I, tune in, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know this song. Oh my gosh, I don't know this song. And so they went like deep into his catalog. So yeah.
It's Weird Al.
It's Weird Al.
I got mad love for Weird Al.
If you listen to his lyrics, they're funny.
They're hilarious, and he does a good job.
He does an amazing job.
They stick in your mind.
They do. It's funny because last night I was at an event and they played Beat It, and instantly my brain is like, why aren't they playing Eat It? You know what I mean? Just like, that's just as good. So yeah.
It really is. All right. Shop local.
I can't say enough about this. I avoid big box stores as much as possible. But one of my favorite shop local is Cease Electronics.
Oh, okay.
I don't get to go there very often because we keep our TVs for a long time. But when we do, I refuse to go to like the other big box stores. Just because I want to give Cease my business, and because they're, the cheap electronics at the other stores don't last as long necessarily. Like you'll see, 70-inch TV for, $199. Well, you get what you pay for. So it, again, it could die in a few years, and not that people get their TVs repaired nowadays, but I go to Cease because they're knowledgeable. I know I'm getting a good product, and I'm willing to pay. And again, I'm very lucky that I have the means to do this, to pay for them to set it up. Because I mean, when you do your remote and you have, a gaming system and a streaming system and all that, I want it all done for me. So I pay them good money to come and to have their expertise and set everything up for me.
I'm with you on that. Except for I'm that guy. I am that nerd, and I'm about that life. Actually, it's my happiness.
Ooh.
Well, see, hey.
Well, I guess if you're running a podcast, you know what I mean? You're probably techie.
I've got a little bit of tech about me, a little bit.
I would say more than a little bit.
And that's my thing. Like to me, how some people get all excited, like getting under their car and they get there and they fix. It's how I feel about new electronics.
Ooh, I should have hired you to come over.
Look, give me the wires. I don't need no diagrams. It's all about ins and outs. Let's figure this out. Let's add this device. Let's add that device. Like there's happiness. And then when the tech works.
Even better.
Wow. And I don't mind problems either, because that's just as part of the feeling good about it. Like my daughter will tell you this. We have a rule, and it's called never let tech win.
Ooh,
which means you
tell me more.
No, you just can't. You can't stop until you beat the tech. So that means I'm going to watch all the YouTube videos. I'm going to look up everything online. We're going to figure out why this isn't doing what it's supposed to do. Tech can't win. You must beat the tech.
You should get that on a t-shirt. Tech can't win. I could just see that.
Right after I make my facts t-shirt.
There you go. Oh, I would get a facts t-shirt.
That might be the next Kosh t-shirt. Just facts. All right. I'm feeling that. Diversity.
So this one's big for me. I think of the movie title and not the content of the movie. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. because diversity is everywhere. People just think of skin color, and that's so much more than that. Because everyone's identity is made up of diverse pieces. It's your culture. It's if you're able or disabled. It's your health. It's your religion. It's your age. It's your sex or gender. The world would be boring if everyone thought and did the same things. Diversity of thought is needed because people bring different perspectives, experiences, and skill sets to the table, which leads to much more creativity and innovation. Diversity is beneficial to society at large. And I hate how it's kind of become politicized.
Facts.
You know, it's one of those things where it's almost become a dirty word, and it's not. Because everyone is diverse in everything that they do. Again, it's like your identities are made up of so many things. You know, I mean, I could say with mine, I'm a mother, I'm a worker, I'm a volunteer, and on and on and on. I'm a female. So I'm as diverse as you are, as, you know, your family is, as society in general is. So I look at society as, why is it a bad word? Everyone should embrace it.
Yeah, it's been villainized, and it does put some people in their feelings for numerous reasons. Yeah, it's one of those things. I'll leave it at that because I go on about this all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it is my job, but even when it wasn't my job, it was still my job.
Yeah, it's everyone's job.
That's my point.
Yeah. That's why I say everything, everywhere, all at once. It's all around you. You know, embrace it. Try and find ways that you can help with it. It's amazing. And I just want to give a shout out because I heard on one of your previous podcasts that the Oshkosh Area School District newly created a job for a leader of diversity.
Yes.
And that makes me happy. We need more of that in this world.
Facts. Yeah. I'm pretty proud of them right now.
You should be.
Let's just see how, now the next thing is to make the decision was hard.
Which is sad.
But now the work begins.
And that's the good part. That's where you get to dig in and figure out how the school district of Oshkosh is going to show up with this. They're going to
be, it's going to just take time. And here's what my thing about it always is this, like, when you hire somebody in a role like this, it's not a light switch role.
Nope.
It's not a quick impact role.
Mm-mm.
There's so much you have to do to set it up before you actually do the work, which number one is building relationships and trust.
Huge. That is huge.
And that takes time to build relationships and trust before you can actually go in there and really start talking about these things and making change. You have to start at that point. Because if you try to make all the changes before you have trust and relationships in place, the pushback is, you can't win.
It is. I equate it to putting money in the bank.
Facts.
You have to put money in the bank to build up that trust. And then when you go in to start making change, you're kind of doing a small withdrawal. But you need to have that base of trust and money in the bank before you can start making a difference. So no, I'm fully with you with that. So.
All right. Last word, community.
So this is at the crux of what I do with my job. But I look at it as, it's people, their related activities, their culture, their value system. And it's something that we're not really conscious of, but it's a place that we feel where we belong. So I have a community at work. I have a community with my family. I have a community with my friends. I have a community with my book club. Communities can be anywhere. And they're truly important to life. I mean, you could even say there's biological communities, ecological communities. So it's a broad term, but it's very impactful. And in my job too, I have to build relationships and build up the trust. To basically find out, what nonprofits need, how my company can help, our community, and community is also a place, be as good as it can be. So I'm very much into community. And again, I just like being with people who accept us for who we are and don't put us put pressure on us to change. And that's where I think it comes down to, like, if you can be who you are, then you're in some sort of community.
Facts.
It can be a community as a remote African village. It could be a neighborhood in the Bronx. It could be in a prison. It could be in a church. It could be in a mosque. It could be in an army platoon. Even the staff of a local Culver's or the bus drivers in Milwaukee. All of those are communities. And we need community, just like we need diversity. We need it.
Community. If you don't have community, then where do you belong? And how can you
have crux of this.
How can you have belonging?
So true. And belonging, makes you feel good as a person, helps you get work done, makes you want to help, everyone. And hopefully you're all out there volunteering. We'll get to that soon. But yes, I mean, the world rotates around diversity and community. Those are two strong words in my mind.
Love it. Okay. You ready for the next segment?
Let's go.
That's always how I feel. It's just my thing. All right. We're going to go to the Kosh Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to tell us about something that you think is a hidden gem. And it could be something everybody knows about, but maybe they don't know this detail about it, or maybe it's something that you don't know about. I believe, like, there's the thing, when I think of a hidden gem, it's the thing that you've been driving past for the last decade and you knew it was there, but you didn't have any idea what it is. You never walked in, and then somebody tells you, man, you need to go in there. That's what I think all the time.
That's a good point. Mine is something that you can't drive into, though.
Ooh.
It's something that you need to use to help you figure out things that you don't know how to do in an interesting way. So my hidden gem is 211.
Oh.
It's free. It's a phone number that you call. It's free. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if you're looking to do things like find an essential community service, I have people that ask, well, where would you recommend that we go to do, to find this? I'm like, call 211. So it's not like where you can say, what restaurant should I go to? But if you need something like you're in a crisis, or you need food, or you need housing, and it's broad. I mean, I've used it when I was looking to find a place to get a COVID vaccine. They had all the information on anything that has to deal with essential community services.
Yes.
And the people that you talk to are kind of like navigators. They're almost like...
No, they are ballers.
There you go.
I went and toured it.
You did? Have you used it, though?
I have used it in the sense of, once I understood how it worked and I actually got to see it work and I got to see calls come in and understand the system. Big shout out to United Way for holding us down on that. Big shout out to that team of United Way Fox Cities who is out there doing that work. Once I understood how it worked, I've been using it like crazy, but in reference to, I'm big on connecting people with resources because people just don't know what it exists.
I know. And that's exactly it. It's like you and I both work in the community and we know what's out there, but that's because that's through our jobs. So not everyone knows that.
No.
So yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, like my parents don't know it, my family doesn't. So then I'm just like, call 211 if you need to know anything. And again, they're just amazing. So, even if you're new to the community, to say, what do I need to do first? Where's my closest grocery store? If you need to find housing, if you need to find, help finding food or help paying your bills, if you want to volunteer, if you need help with mental health, if you need help with your finances. I mean, this applies to almost everyone.
Yeah.
If you need help with addiction.
That database is crazy.
It is. And they will look it up for you on the phone while you're on there. If you're looking for employment, if you are a veteran and you want to find out if there's services for veterans.
Did you know you can text them?
You can text 211?
Yeah.
I did not know that. See?
I'm
learning that. No way. Is that new?
No, I saw the system work.
Oh
So you literally can text in and they will, I watched how it works when somebody texts in and how it pops up on the screen, and then they go to work and they start connecting the dots because, texting might just be easier for some people.
That is true, because then you can do it on your own time and you don't have to talk with someone.
Well, that and just maybe the way, maybe just the way you communicate. Maybe it just works.
That's true.
Easier.
That's
Maybe
very
it just
true.
Works better.
That's very true.
You can text text 211, but to text them isn't 211.
Oh, okay.
There's another set of numbers that you text with. I wish I knew it.
Well, we can post it on
We'll put
your
it in
notes.
we'll put it in the podcast notes.
Awesome. Because I want to look that up now too.
Oh, yeah.
See, I learned something from you. So even if you were looking for like a support group for anything,
Yep.
they're there to help. Again, I told my family about it, and then they've told other people because no one seems to know about this.
And it's not regional. It's bigger.
It's all over the United States.
Correct.
It is, but it's supported regionally.
Yes.
But there's 211. I mean, I look at it as it's like the 911, but it's 211. 911 is for an emergency. Yeah. 211, I mean, it could be an emergency if you need housing and things like that, yes. But it's on a different level.
Yes. That's what I've used it for is when I've run into people with like homelessness challenges. And then like sometimes they might have a phone. And I can slip them a brochure and say, just text here.
Nice.
Just text here.
Nice.
Without having to overpromise anything or be evasive and not ask a bunch of questions. Just be like, hey, I see you. I care. Text this. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
And it seems like it's worked. It's worked good in several cases.
And again, it works for anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Whether you're low income, whether you're middle income, whether you're high income. I mean, everyone, would love to find out about support groups or mental health, just know that it's for everyone. So I can't say enough about 211. It's a hidden gem that so many people do not know about. And I wish that they did. And hopefully they will after listening to your podcast.
Let's hope. What does the COSH need?
So this one was pretty easy for me just because I'm passionate about this. I'm all about youth voice and youth leadership. And in the Fox Cities and in Oshkosh and regionally, youth voice and youth leadership is not as well accepted as it should be.
Ooh.
So
what do you mean?
Like, youth want to lead, youth want to have their say. Youth want to run different programs, and I feel like a lot of the large leaders, they just poo-poo them.
Bruh.
Oh, they're just, 16. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. But there's a specific group of youth that are called opportunity youth. And I'll define this because a lot of people have no idea what this means. It's youth ages 16 to 24 that are not employed and not in school. But yet, they're out there.
Right.
And the word opportunity in the opportunity youth refers to the opportunity for these youth to reconnect to the community and the opportunity for them to share their great ideas and leadership with everyone. So it's trying to figure out a way that we can get these kids involved in the community. And what we need, in my mind, is some sort of backbone organization that can help all different other organizations that work with youth convene and help get this going. Mm-hmm. So one group that's been doing it, and it's national, it's called the Aspen Institute. And the Aspen Institute has been working on convening cross-sector groups to look at and try and solve complex social challenges for many years. And it's not just youth. It's so many different things. They're such a wide organization. But Opportunity Youth is one of the social challenges that they have taken on. And they're really good at it. My company and I have convened a group of a few great community leaders, very smart. I'll say their names. Kayla McNamara from the STAR program, Rayon Brown from Fox Valley Technical College, and Lynn Coriano, who's now the executive director of the Basic Needs Giving Partnership.
Big fat shout outs to all
Oh my
three.
gosh, you guys are amazing.
Shout-outs.
You guys are amazing. Mm-hmm. And your brain power has helped move this along. But we got together and started saying, what could we do to start getting this moving? So through many iterations and many hours of meetings, we also are using a consultant that's helping us through this. We have done landscape, take a look at the landscape, what's out there, how ready is the Fox Cities, are the Fox Cities for this? And it seems like we're really ready. We just need to now figure out and take the next step. So we're doing our research, but if there's anyone out there that, a nonprofit or a group that would love to help take this on and be the backbone agency for this, we would love to talk to you. So I can put my contact information out there. But I feel like that's missing in this area. It's in a lot of larger metropolitan areas that have these, just not here, but Opportunity Youth are everywhere. So I think that investing in young people will also have a ripple effect on future generations of low-income children and families.
Yes.
I mean, just
period.
The power of this is, yes, period.
Take care of our youth. Definitely give them these opportunities. They're way smarter than we ever give them credit for.
Oh, yes.
Maybe that's why we don't want to give them credit.
Maybe. That's true. No, I've heard some of their ideas and I'm just like, whoa, that's really cool.
Right.
And I'll give a shout out. We currently have 2 youth leaders that are absolutely amazing. It's Kayla Lonas and Faith Roska. And they are working with us. And
big fat shout out.
Yes, they are amazing. Right now, they're working on a project. They feel that they would like to educate the staff at Fox Valley Technical College on how to incorporate pro-Blackness into their teaching. So they're going to be doing a presentation for them coming up soon, just to basically teach the teachers who will then hopefully help with this population. So it's youth-led. It's Faith and Kayla came up with this topic and that's what they wanted to tackle. So again, you just let them go.
Yep.
We as leaders, just make sure that they don't burn the building down, but we let them go. And then we're here for advice if we need it.
Oh yeah. As somebody who has done some youth development, your job to me is to block and tackle and clear the path for them. And then just keep them away from the rails.
That's so true, though. It's so true.
Like sometimes they don't have the frame of reference of where the rails are, and you just got to be like, well, we just got to scoot back over here a little bit.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to get in your way. Keep moving forward. We're just going to scoot away from this rail, and then I'm going to get that hurdle out of your way, and let me introduce you to this person. They're going to be super helpful. Because I find that when you do this for youth, what it does is it has a ripple effect into the future because then it expands what they know is possible.
So true. And I look at the youth right now are going to be our leaders in the future.
Well,
we need to support them. The other thing that I think we need to do is change the conversation with all the people that don't think that youth have it going on and to prove that they do and that they have great ideas. So I think that's going to be another hard part, or challenging, I should say, is, for those that don't think that youth can do this, is how do we change that conversation? I
would like to change the conversation so that people look at all different types of youth, because
love it.
It's not that my experiences is not that institutions and organizations and initiatives don't know that youth are talented and can do amazing things, but they're very picky about whose voice they're going to allow. That is so true. And that's the issue, the conversation that we want to change. And so my thing is I want to make sure, like, when you give these opportunities to youth, make sure we're giving it to all youth. And that's why I would hope that this backbone and that this spreads almost like your podcast, word of mouth, that we get all youth involved in this, but specifically the opportunity youth. That's a big part because we want to reconnect them to society because they're great. They do great work. Facts. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Did you know there are children in the Fox Valley in need of hearing aids, but their parents struggle to provide them because of lack of insurance or high copays? I am Juliette Sturkins, audiologist and board member of Here in the Fox Cities, and proud that this small local nonprofit organization has helped fund hearing aids for some 30 kids. Your donation would help more children hear. Visit hereinthefoxcities.org to learn more and to see their smiles. Every child deserves to hear.
Okay, we're back. And we are ready to jump into the next segment, which this segment is becoming my favorite segment.
Mine too. I know that you tested it out, but I love it.
Yeah, there's just a power in good narrative. So next segment is story time. And this is where we ask our guests, share a narrative with us.
So I'm going to share an interesting one. My oldest son has autism, and I'm lucky because he's not severely autistic, but he has autistic tendencies. So when he was younger, he was obsessed, and he still is, with computers. He would go out and sign up for anything that he could get his hands on. So all of a sudden I get a letter in the mail from the school district, and I open it, and it says, "Congratulations, you qualify for free and reduced lunch, especially because you're adopted." And I'm just like, huh? And I mean, you have to laugh at this. So I think what happened is, and again, this is his autistic brain. He went out and he's probably like, I want to save my parents some money. So this link to apply for this is buried deep within the school district's website.
Right.
He was probably fooling around and he saw it and he's just like, I'll sign up for it, and didn't realize what it meant. So then I had to call the school district's food service and say, yeah, we do not need this. My son is not adopted. He's autistic, and he just went out and did this on a whim, and he didn't realize the implications of what this meant. And you can't even talk to him about it after to say, guess what you did? Because he didn't understand. He thought he was helping. So it just showed me how his autistic brain worked. And I love his autistic brain. It brings a great flavor to our family, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh, no. We need neurodiversity.
Oh, tell me about it. And he's just delightful, happy-go-lucky guy. But that's my little story that I think is funny. And again, it's just one of those things where you have to laugh at things that, kids do.
I ain't mad at him because, let my child try to save me $1. I am all about it.
But it's lying.
There was such a good intent.
It was good intent, but I couldn't keep it.
Couldn't keep it. I get that part.
But I bless his soul for thinking that way.
At least you got a letter, because it would have been a lot.
True.
It could have been worse. You could have went to the next school event or gather, and somebody would have walked up to you and say, I didn't know that you adopted.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
And you adopted someone with autism. Good for you.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. You even said it. I could hear that. I could feel that literally. Good for you.
Uh-huh.
I hate that term.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a good
user. It's used so many times. And again, it's when you listen and you're just like, what was the meaning behind saying that?
Oh no, I'll tell you my hatred of it is it has to do with it's one of those things people say to me a lot, and it's always dripping in condescension. And it used to happen more like when I worked at the university, and I would be like, because here's the thing, you'd be sitting, chilling, enjoying a libation by yourself, right?
Yeah.
And in Wisconsin, they got this thing where if there's the solo black man having a libation by himself, somebody feels they got to sit down next to you.
Oh, no.
And talk to you.
Oh, no.
Because they're trying to figure it out, right? They want to understand it. They don't understand. I've been here for 30 years. They just want to figure it out, right? And they go, hey, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. Have the conversation piece. And then at some point it's always, it's always about going professional. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Da, 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 da. And I used to just lie and just tell them that I was a garbage man.
No way.
I loved it.
No way. You did.
A, because I respect it, and B, it was something that they could comprehend.
That is true.
And here's what you learn, or what I've learned is when you don't meet people's expectations, there is pushback and non-acceptance or apprehension, and sometimes even anger. Right? When you don't meet the expectation. So me telling them, oh, I'm a garbage man, they were real good with that. But if I told them, oh, I work at the university, and then the next thing they would say to me is, oh, good for you. And you could just hear it, and it's just like, oh.
I'm shaking my head here.
Bruh. I can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. And so, like, that is why I can't tell you just how many times that happens all the time.
And I feel bad that it even happens.
It happens. It seriously happens. And so, like, I got feelings about it. So, like, even when people say good for you with the best, it all sounds condescending to me.
True. And I'm going to say facts. I'm going to use your term facts. Because it is. I mean, I can think of other times that people have said it, to people who have kids with disabilities, to, people who've, raised kids with disabilities, good for you. It's like, a little pat on the back, like, aw.
Yeah, why isn't it good for all of us?
That's so true. But it is. It's so,
anytime somebody say, oh, that's so good for you, what does that actually
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, once again, I'm going to go back to I actually listen to what people say.
And the undertones.
Everything about
of what
it.
They say.
And body language. And
it's unconscious bias in its best.
It's something.
Because unconsciously they're saying it, but we know deep down what they're trying to say.
I know what it feels like.
So now I see why you said garbage man.
Oh yeah, because guess what? No one ever says good for you then.
That's true.
No, they're just like, oh, that's awesome.
It's a respectful job too.
Oh, first of all, yes.
Uh-huh.
There was a time that it was something I could have aspired to because I actually respect it so much. Like, it's just, I grew up in a household where my parents, their whole thing was like, just do a good, honest job. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, just work hard and do a good, honest job. And so, like, I don't know anybody working harder than them, at least back in the day. What?
Well, even today, come on.
Well, no, I'm judging it pre the arm that comes out and throws your thing into the truck, right? I'm thinking back in the day when they were riding on the back and they come and they throw the things in the back and dump your garbage in the back of the truck, and like it was not as automated as it is right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the work isn't hard. I'm just saying it's different.
It was different.
Right.
That's very true. But I look at that for any job. So I don't know if you've ever read the book Nickel and Dimed.
No.
It was a woman who decided to live in 3 different places in the United States and live in poverty and work, so she basically went, and it's like she had to use 2-on-1. She moved to a place, she needed housing. She needed to find food, even though she was middle class. But she worked at jobs and had to try and find jobs. So one of them was being a maid at a hotel. And she saw, how she was treated, and how they didn't make enough money. But the people that did it for their entire life did it well. And that's one of the takeaways that she said. They were proud. They did a good job. And she aspired to do that. So it was very interesting. So that's what made me think of it, is when you said, when your parents said, just do a good job and do it well. That's amazing. No matter what your job is, just do it well and love what you do.
Yeah. Well, they didn't say to love what you do. Just do it.
Okay.
Hey, wait, because look, there's a lot of jobs you ain't got to love it, but if you're going to do it well.
That is true. It's a bonus if you love what you do.
It's a bonus if you love what you do. But
then it doesn't even feel like work.
Well, no, it still feels like work sometimes. I do what I love, and this still feels like work. I don't know. I'm going to guess some days it might feel like work for you too.
When I have to do all the administrative stuff, yes. But when I'm out meeting people and building relationships, no.
That's my favorite
thrive
part
on
too.
it. I thrive on it.
That's my favorite part too. Okay. Well, now we're at that time of the show, the real time of the show. Makes me happy.
Me too.
Okay. It is time for Topic of the Week. Topic of the Week is 99% of the time chosen by our guest. Every once in a while, I might have to pick one. Jenny, what do you got?
So I've heard a lot of this in your past few podcasts, but I'm going to go deep. And my topic is volunteering.
Yes.
So I consider myself, or I love volunteering. I consider it a hobby of mine because I volunteer all the time.
Bruh.
And it's just a part of who I am. I think it helped me get my current job. So, it's really good. But I get a lot of joy and energy from helping the community. We talked about community because the community that I live in has helped me be who I am today. And so I feel this need to give back. But volunteering is a great way to meet people. It's a great way to make friends. It's a great way to share your expertise in a new way. Or you can learn a new skill. So I volunteered with Habitat Building Houses, and I've learned how to put on siding.
What?
And yeah, exactly.
You know what? I got a job for you. No. You told the wrong. Wait, you told the wrong person.
I didn't say that I was going to do it for a job, but it's just funny. And then one time for a Habitat, I got to help with electrical boxes, and it was just like outside of my comfort zone, but I learned. So it's just a great way to, it's a give and take. You learn the oddest skills sometimes. I volunteered with my family at Heckrot, and we learned how to harvest seeds by taking dead flower heads and putting them into a bin. So, I mean, there's all different things that I can say that I've done. I volunteered in all different weather. There was once that I volunteered for a great big event. I think it was Art at the Park, and it was like raining sideways. So that was interesting. And of course, we all bonded with the group of us that was, in the shelter, and we were fine. But volunteering hits so many different areas, and it's good for the community and it's good for you. Again, you can learn new skills, and those skills could even help you advance your career. So I've been on a few boards of directors, and it's great work. It's hard work. Because you're, again, representing and making decisions, high-level decisions for the nonprofit that you're on the board of. You can't take that job lightly.
How do you find the places you want to volunteer?
Because
here's the thing. I hear this, and I have conversations with people, and there's a lot of people and once again, I'm a firm believer 95% of the people we're interacting with are really, really good people, right? And so I hear it where they're like, oh, yeah, I would like to volunteer. I don't know if I have time to volunteer, or I don't even know where to begin to figure out where to volunteer, right? So how did you figure it out?
So I volunteer everywhere, it feels like. But I say, especially with being on a board of directors, or if you really want to go deep, and you can volunteer if you have just like 5 minutes, you can volunteer if you have weeks. You don't need a lot of time. There's lots of things that you can do. We even have like speed volunteering where I work, where like if someone's coming out of the lunchroom, it just could be you stop by and you assemble something, or you stop by and you write a note of thanks to, someone.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing program.
Yeah. Our employees love it. And it's, again, you can do anything volunteering. If you just do one or two things, it's great. But, if you have time and if you have a family, but I'll get into that later. I'd say first find what you're passionate about. So, because my job is in the community, I see lots of community need. So I've been passionate about housing. I'm passionate about youth. I'm passionate about animals from my background with being pre-veterinary. You name it. I'm passionate about the arts. So I kind of have this wide berth. But if you figure out what you're passionate about, you can go to your local volunteer center, and they will help match you to a volunteer opportunity. So Volunteer Fox Cities has this online, you don't even need to talk to them. They have this online, I'm going to call it matching service on their website. And you can go and check boxes. I love animals. I only want to volunteer for a few, an hour. I only want to volunteer on Tuesdays, whatever it is that fits your needs.
Right.
You can go and check the boxes, and then it'll come up with a bunch of local volunteer opportunities. So the resources are out there, and even nationally, there's volunteermatch.org, I think it is. That gives you even local things, but there's just great software out there that helps you get involved.
I just want to give a big shout out to Volunteer Fox
Cities.
Oh my gosh. That team.
Team is amazing.
That's right.
They're so positive and so knowledgeable.
I went and broke bread with them. We had some lasagna together.
Nice.
Hey, that's how you do that.
And have you heard of their Give Back bus? I want to give a shout out to that.
Oh, let's share.
So what it is it's a company can have this bus come, And it's a mystery of where you're going to go volunteer. So you get on the bus and they take you to a nonprofit where you give a few hours of your time. So it can be, usually it's done through a company. So I don't know if just the general public can get on a give back bus, but we do it at my company, and we either do it through all of the employees, or it could just be a team of employees that wants to build up their team and get to know each other better. So it's neat because you get on this bus, it takes you, and all of a sudden you get out and you're like, oh, this is where you're volunteering. And to me, it's a true sense of volunteering because you don't even know what you're going to volunteer for.
Yes.
You're just saying, I want to volunteer. So you get on the Give Back bus and you volunteer wherever you're going to go.
We need this link. This
yes.
link is going to
have
to
my
get, because
gosh.
I know right now,
Fox Cities is amazing.
There's going to be people listening right now and they're going to think we need this in our company.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's amazing. And it's amazing the work that Volunteer Fox Cities does. They even started a program for family volunteering.
What?
So yes, it's called Branches. And so Brad, who's there, he started the program, and I, of course, signed my family up right away. So that's where we did like the harvesting seeds. I'm trying to think of what else we did. Oh, there was one that was like pick your own. And we went and rang bells for Salvation Army. But yeah, they keep you connected and you record your hours, and it's a great way to show your kids how to volunteer and how to give back to their community and to be a part of the community. So I hope that my kids continue on with this because it's such an important part of my life, and I hope that it becomes an important part of theirs.
Well, I think when you do it when they're kids, it just becomes part of the fabric of who they are.
I hope so. They've carried it on a little bit with volunteering for a few other things, but they just know, oh, mommy's gone for a few hours, she's out volunteering. So it's just a part of their lives to know that too. But one of the things that my company does that Volunteer Fox Cities is going to start getting going is pro bono volunteering, which is using your knowledge that you have in your job to help nonprofits with their needs. So one of the ones that we're doing one coming up is it's lightning skills. So volunteers don't even have to prep. They just show up at this time for, I think it's an hour and a half. You meet with the nonprofit, you hear what they need, and then you brainstorm and come up with ideas that they could potentially implement. And you're just using your knowledge. So I think we have one that's coming up that's on marketing. So it'll be helping nonprofits with their websites, with social media. And you don't have to be an expert, but if you work with it and if you work in marketing, you're sharing your knowledge for free for an hour to this nonprofit. And it's so beneficial to them. So again, you don't need to be an expert. So you can learn skills, you can share your skills. Volunteering is just the best in my mind.
That's a powerful program. Like I'm already thinking of like all these different places that I'm thinking I hope because of what they do and the amazing people that work there would volunteer for something like this. And my guess is, which I find the biggest hurdle in our region for doing good is the lack of knowing about it.
I am with you. It's almost like 2-on-1. You have to know about it.
You have to know about it.
And once you do, like for me, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where volunteering is a big part of my life. And I agree. It's just knowing where do you get started. And I would have people meet with me, I want to volunteer for a board. Okay, you can't just volunteer for any board. Pick something that you love, whether it's curing cancer, whether it's animals, but pick something that you love. And then I'll say a shout out to United Way. If people didn't know what they loved, I would recommend that they get involved in United Way on an impact area, because an impact area, it's community members who learn about the different, so for example, I'm on the education impact area. So we do all things with youth and, and early childhood. So if you know that you kind of like things in that area, get on an impact area. Then you'll be able to see all the nonprofits that impact area has underneath it. And maybe one of them will speak to you. And if you see that, then that's maybe the board that you should be on. So that's what I would always do, is point people to the impact areas on United Way Fox Cities, because you can get a broad view of a slice of the community in an area that you may be interested in.
I love that strategy.
Yeah. Because,
that is so good.
And some people know. Some people are like, well, my family had this happen to them. Okay, diabetes, we'll say. Then if you're passionate about diabetes, then work with an organization that works with diabetes. But, the sky's the limit. Every nonprofit needs help. Every nonprofit, from museums to basic needs to the arts, you name it, they need your help. And when you said, wouldn't it be cool if you could do, the pro bono work? That is going to be, keep your eyes out. In the next few years, there's something bubbling underneath the surface at Volunteer Fox Cities. Ooh. So there'll be a way at some point for anyone and everyone to be able to do some pro bono volunteer work. But I don't want to give too much away because they're still working on it.
Okay. I'm excited.
It is. It's so good.
We are so blessed.
We are. And, I've heard you talk in other podcasts about we're lucky to live where we live. I mean, we have compassionate people. We have people who care. And again, the question is, how is it different than anywhere else? I don't know. I just feel like there's something special in this region. And I always like to say, we have something special, but, others would say, well, we have that where we live. I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain secret sauce that pulses through everyone's veins.
Actually, I'll tell you what someone shared with me one time, and they told me what the difference is here.
Okay. I'd love to hear this.
Other places have a lot of well-intentioned people doing the work, but here, all those well-intentioned people are willing to partner with each other.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the difference.
That's powerful. And I've seen that. So an example of that is we have a housing coalition. In other communities, housing, providers, they fight against each other for dollars. I don't want to talk to you because you may steal some of my donations from either companies or people. Here we have a coalition of all the housing partners, and they look at the housing issues and try and work together to solve them, which most places don't have. So I feel like that's a good example, but that's a powerful thought on that.
Yeah. And I get to see it in action.
You do.
You get to see it in action, and we don't celebrate it enough because sometimes you don't even know that you should be.
Yep. Yeah. Now that you say that, yeah.
And we should be.
We should be. We should sing it from the mountaintops.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whenever this comes out where they're looking for talents to go and share your talents with other places, nonprofits and whatnot, my talent is I make amazing chili. So I'm just saying, look, I'm throwing the gauntlet down. The people that know Timber does not lose many chili cook-offs. I get down like that. And so if you need that man, that dude that makes really good chili for however that correlates into the nonprofit world, holla at me.
So I have a question for you though. There's a great big debate when it comes to chili.
Okay.
Noodles or no noodles?
No noodles.
Okay, I'm a noodles person.
Here's my thing. I'm not saying you can't eat chili with noodles.
Yes.
You just don't put noodles in your chili. There's a difference. I think you put your noodles on the side and you put chili over it if that's how you want to eat it.
I've never heard that method.
But if you put noodles in the chili, then I don't know if for me personally, my definition, I don't know if I can call that chili.
A lot of people call that goulash. And it's funny because at our, we have another location for our company. And in the other location in a different state, they do not put noodles as an option for their chili.
Right.
Here in this area, they do. And so then when someone from the other state comes over to visit our cafeteria, they're like, why do you have noodles? We're like, well, that's kind of what we put in.
And then there's like Cincinnati,
they have good. I love Cincinnati style chili.
Well, I mean, you throw some spaghetti noodles.
Exactly. And I forgot they have a special ingredient that they add to the Cincinnati chili.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it is. Is it like, I think it's something sweet.
I don't know.
But I know that they do the spaghetti. But yeah, I think that it's like, I think that they've done, and I could be wrong.
There's a food
those
truck
of you
around
out
here.
there, there's a food truck that has Cincinnati chili.
Yes.
Oh, I need to find it.
See,
I'm all about food trucks.
Oh yes, I am a food truck connoisseur.
Oh, I may have to, come to you and find out which ones are your favorite.
I feel like I need to come to you.
Well, I try anything and everything.
I'm just saying.
I go when it's food trucks, I'm just like, well, let's try this, it's different, and let's try this, it's different.
See, I do the same thing. Like if I see things, well, I won't try anything, but if it's something that piques my curiosity, I'm willing to try it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean? Because some things I'm like, gotta be careful about that one there.
We got to find one that has bugs.
Make sure
Fried bugs. Fried bugs.
I'm willing to try a fried bug.
Okay,
a fried
okay.
bug. So if you find it and it's deep fried, I'm about that life. I think that actually sounds like it would be okay. I'm about, look, to me, there's just so many good deep fried things. I
know.
like when you heard about deep fried butter, I was like, yes, yes, State Fair. I need to know what deep fried butter is.
I heard, there is a restaurant in New York that fries anything that you bring in.
Right.
The only thing that they found that they can't fry is cake because it crumbles apart.
Oh.
So someone had brought in cakes. They're like, we'll fry anything except for cake.
Deep fried butter. You know what all deep fried butter turned out to be?
What?
It just soaked into the bread. So then it's just like fried bread.
That sounds heavenly, though.
It's just fried buttery bread.
Oh, yum, though.
The fried Snicker bar, though.
I've had that.
That was fantastic.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing. Yes, I highly recommend that. It's all ooey and gooey and
Yes, we got way off the path and ended back up at food.
We did. Of course, everything always comes back to food.
Facts. So, so what I got to say now is like, you've given some amazing resources. We got to make sure we get these notes. We're going to have notes into the podcast, details and notes, so people can find these opportunities. If you are interested, Jenni is an expert. I mean, if you can't tell from from everything she set up to this point, let's connect with her.
And I'm always open to that. So reach out to me.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. I'll put my email in there too if you want.
All right, we can do that.
My personal email.
Fair enough.
And join Food for Thought Fox Valley.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to keep on tossing that in.
Oh no, you could look. This is the shout out show. We are all about a good shout out. Shout out.
Even though I know that segment's coming up, but
well, here's the beauty of the shout out, and I always find this like I can't tell you the number of times I've been randomly walking somewhere, and somebody that I know will walk up and they'll be like, "Oh my God, thanks for the shout out." And I'm like, yes, that's all. Just so people know we appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Like the shout out is just saying, I see you, I appreciate you. And we should do more of that.
I agree.
So
I agree.
It is part of the fabric of the Kosh.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Your show is amazing.
All right. So any last things you want to throw in here?
Well, I'll just briefly say about my board service quickly. I learned a lot for my job. I was on boards with CEOs, and just to hear how they thought, it helped me with my strategic thinking. So again, it helps you in your job if you want to do that. It makes connections with people from all over.
Yes.
So I did an issue once with my house, and someone that was on a board worked for a local construction company, and he came over to my house and looked at it and gave me advice. So you never know who you're going to meet. You never know when you're going to intersect with them in the future. But joining a board is good, or joining a committee, because a board is a big commitment. But even joining a committee, plan something, plan a gala, plan an event, plan a 5K walk. You'll meet lots of people, gain lots of skills. And again, I can't say enough about volunteering. I'm very, very passionate about it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I don't think people understand how often volunteering translates into amazing job skills, and you can put it on your resume.
That is so true. People should do that too. I mean, you may not realize it, but and even when you are in an interview, they'll ask questions. Tell me about a time when. Well, you can use volunteer experiences to tell about a time when. And
here's the hint, y'all. I'm going to give you the resume hint. What you do is you take volunteer in that you would put that on your resume, and you make that leadership.
I'm with you.
Don't call it volunteer. Call it leadership.
And that's another thing that volunteering teaches. If you're willing to dip your toe into leadership, do it with, a volunteer activity. You'll be surprised at how much you know and how much you can influence people. So that's another skill that you learn from volunteering.
Yes. All right. Ooh. Thank you. Kosh listeners, thank you for spending this time with us. I appreciate it every time. We appreciate it every time. For giving us your minds and listening to these conversations and connecting with all of these amazing voices and amazing individuals within our community. I learn all the time, and I'm hoping you are too. And also just understanding how we are connected, right? It's like I'm always amazed and maybe even a little overwhelmed, like how close these connections are and all the amazing people doing amazing things out there. So once again, please, we are a work in progress. Do not ever hesitate to reach out to us. That email is askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, askthekosh@gmail.com. You already know, every episode I let you know, we do have a voicemail service. So if you would like to be part of the show, don't hesitate. Leave us a voicemail. Voicemail is available on the website. The website is thekoshpodcast.com. Once again, thekoshpodcast.com. And then you already know I am asking everyone to take a little time and leave us a review. Subscribe to the Kosh. We're trying to grow. We want more people to learn about this because at the end of the day, this is about community. This is a great way to connect. This is a great way to be a more engaged resident in our region. And I can only see positive things of that. So please do that. And lastly, I currently have just a couple of Kosh shirts, a couple of XLs, and a couple of smalls left. We got a new one. We also moved to a better material t-shirt that is more of a dry fit material. So if you like the rock one, reach out to me. We'd love to make that happen. All right. So now it is truly time for my favorite part of the show. It is shout out time. Hey, come on, Jenny, who do you have?
So I have a few. First, I'd like to give a shout out to my family. They deal with my crazy schedule and put up with me when I'm out volunteering. And they've helped me so much during a major issue that happened to me a few years ago. So the support of my husband, Jeff, and my two sons, Jordan and Edison, it means the world to me. So a shout out to them. I'll do a shout out again for Food for Thought Fox Cities. Join it on Facebook. I'd love to have you join me. Again, it's a hodgepodge of all different food things. You name it, it's there. And I'd love to have people post their ideas and things that they find on Food for Thought Fox Valley. And I would like to give a shout out to anyone that works in a nonprofit. I intersect with you so often, and I see you. You work long hours for not much pay. You're making a huge difference in the community, in people's lives. I want you to stop and think about the impact that you're making because it means a lot to those that you serve and to everyone. So shout out to everyone who works in a nonprofit. I'll just do a little aside. I get angry when people are like, oh, I can't believe that executive director for that national nonprofit makes $1 million or whatever. Yeah, they could be working for profit, but they choose and they should be compensated the same as for profit. So I give a shout out because all of these people should be paid more for the hard work that they do. It's astounding. So my heart goes out to them because they care and they're willing to take a little bit less money or work long hours to support the mission that they believe in. So I really want to, from my heart, give a shout out to anyone who works in a nonprofit.
Love it. Just love it. All right. Okay. My shout outs for this week. I want to give a shout out to my man, Jerry, who is in the political science department over at UWO. Ran into my man, Jerry. Jerry, you the man. Facts. All right. That's what I'm going to say about that. I want to give a shout out to Reptile Palace. Kick it at the Reptile Palace. You know, Reptile Palace is the one establishment, and y'all know I call them churches. Reptile Palace is the one church where it doesn't matter who you are, they take you as you are. And I appreciate them for the way they do things, and I always have a good time at that place. Want to give a shout out to Kim over at Harbor House. Thank you for breaking bread with me. Thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate you. I got you. We're gonna keep keeping on. Like to send a big shout out to Mike Leader over at UWO also, who through the local elections meets the candidates so the students could meet the candidates who are running in local elections. I got to be part of that. It was a fantastic event. I appreciate the candidates who showed up to meet these students, because not everyone did, and students are voters too. So not quite sure why you weren't there. Maybe you had other obligations, so I'm not trying to trip on that, but students are voters too. And it's a good look to show up for them. Want to send a big shout out to Jesus Smith over at Lawrence. Hey, congratulations on tenure. That is big. That is big. That is nothing to sneeze at. Big. So big shout out on that. And my last shout out goes to my man Will over at the Gibson. I got to run into Will at the Art Collective. Will, you the man. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Will, you the man. You know you the man. You just keep on being the man. That's what that's about right there. So big. Okay, so now we are at the last part of the show. Last part of the show, there is parting words of wisdom, but we always give choices in our parting words of wisdom. So, Jenny, would you like to bless us with some parting words of wisdom, or would you like to share with us what would yourself today tell your 12-year-old self? Or there's always option C, which is all of the above.
I always choose C.
Always C.
So mine kind of blend in together. It's kind of advice that I give myself, but advice that others can use. So it's kind of like together. So one of mine is life is short. Only do things that bring you joy. Which means if you're on a committee and you're like, I have to go to that committee meeting, I have to do this, or, if you're volunteering, say no. Just say no. And saying no is hard, but life is short. Only do things that bring you joy. That's a huge one. Even if you're reading a book, if it's just yucky, just say no. Only if it brings you joy. The other one is a little bit about happiness. So happiness is built on spending the limited amount of time that you have on things that you enjoy. Kind of circles back to only do things that bring you joy. In a classic psychological experiment, and you've probably seen this on some TV shows like America's Funniest Home Videos, they put a marshmallow in front of a kid and they say, okay, don't touch it. I'm going to go do something. And if it's still there when I come back, you get 2 marshmallows. And it's funny when they film these kids, because some kids, you can see that they're wiggling and they just want to eat the marshmallow now. And other kids just like grab it and toss it in their mouth. But it's basically a test of delayed gratification. And they've shown that delayed gratification has been correlated with higher achievement later on in life. Okay, that's good for when you're younger. But as an adult, I think we need to think on the flip side. The future is unknown. Life is short. Persistently sacrificing your pleasure today for some unknown future in which you'll probably turn down the marshmallow again. So think about things in your life that are the marshmallow. It's not a recipe for balance or joy. Some days you just have to eat the marshmallow, whatever the marshmallow is for you. So my advice is eat the marshmallow.
Facts. Love it. All right. What'd you think?
This was awesome. You have a great thing going. And it does. It feels like a great conversation. So you're amazing, Timber.
It's just the Kosh.
It's Timber behind the Kosh.